There you go. Looks like our space is filling up quick. I just gotta look and just see. I haven't even peeked at it in the last little bit, but definitely getting some people in here. We're gonna get some of our old crowd in here as well. So I'll start inviting some of them. We'll just play the music for another minute or so, you guys, and then we'll get started. We like to get the room a little bit full, so if you're gonna invite someone, definitely start inviting them into the room, and we'll start talking with Daniel right away, who's up here as a speaker already. Hi, Daniel. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Excellent, man. Excellent. Excited to have you here today.
Yeah, it's going to be a great conversation.
Yeah, I'll just play a minute or so more music and invite some more people in here, and then we'll get her going.
Don't mind me. I'm just dancing in the background.
I like Hey Scott, you might be playing the music to yourself. I think you got your mic muted with your speaker on.
There you go.
And all of your flaws and all of my flaws, when they happy exude, we'll see that we need them to be who we are. Without them we'd be doomed. But there's a hole in my soul, I can't feel it, I can't feel it. But there's a hole in my soul. Can you feel it, can you feel it? You have always worn your flaws upon your sleeve, and I have always buried them deep beneath the ground. Dig them out, let's finish what we started. Dig them out, so nothing's left undone. I've always buried them deep beneath the ground. Dig them out, let's finish what
I think that's long enough now. I think we got quite the room started already, which is great, you guys. Thank you for coming into the space and taking part today. We truly appreciate it, and we truly appreciate MetaRuffy coming on and speaking to us all. Vibin really knows MetaRuffy very well, so I kind of want him to say hello and get the conversation started, if you're okay with that, Vibin.
Hey guys. So yeah, as Scott saying, I've known MetaRuffy for a while. We had a AMA with them on our Blockcast media, pretty much right before the pre-sale. Or right before the launch, and so we got to talk. And I just first thing that hit me was Sihan's energy. He's like, the CEO is very energetic, so it was like one of the things that was contagious. And I was just like, man, typically, like I get a little nervous with new projects, and when I heard him speaking, he was just so upbeat. I was like, you know what? I started telling my team about him. I was like, man, like this project could turn into something. And then it had the initial, big run, and then came back down and consolidate a little bit. But it has a great floor, and then we started talking about potentially having it on BigONE, and then both teams started reaching out to one another, and then here we are today. But Daniel, I do want to have you come on. I may know a lot about MetaRuffy, but maybe some of the people here don't know about it. So if you could just give us a brief description of what is MetaRuffy.
Hey guys, it's a privilege to be here. Thank you for having us on. We just listed on BigONE Exchange earlier this morning. It seems like everything's going very well. To define what MetaRuffy is, you can't just define it in a few sentences, because we have so much that we offer. But essentially, we are a game, right? We are a metaverse mainstream game that it's applicable in separate different platforms. Currently, Google Play, Chrome, Safari, soon to be iOS. We're in our final reviews, and then we are already working on PlayStation 5, Xbox, and Oculus. So we are a gaming company, And how that ties into crypto is the ecosystem, the spending within that game, as VBox is to Fortnite, is the MR token, and that is our supportive native token that we launched on the BSC blockchain. So, how many components are in within the metaverse? And everyone thinks about metaverse, and no one can really grasp the definition of what a metaverse is. Virtual reality, it's a world within a virtual digital world. It is essentially the movement that we are going towards, not only in crypto but in the tech world. We first started seeing it in conversations when Facebook brought it around, and now we're starting to see it in corporations. We're starting to see it in equity partner groups. Everybody is now starting to have that buzzword of meta, and that's how the conversation has always started. Last year was NFTs. The year before that was a portion of tokenomics. It's what's driving the next big thing. And we like to think that we are at the forefront of this. We know that there are other individuals that have already had a step forward, but they've also been working on it for a good part of almost a decade. And I feel like we have already done so much in such a little amount of time. We've only been operational for about 4 months. We are a collective of 52 members in our team, which is 25 on the back end, 24 on the front end. We do have extremely passionate CEO. You're absolutely correct on that. Jihan is one of a kind. I can tell you that. He comes from a very solid background. He is no stranger for tech companies and startups, as he has been very successful in his past endeavors, as myself as well. But yeah, we can go down the list of our team that we have and the resumes that we have. But MetaRuffy is a gaming mainstream platform that attaches crypto to its ecosystem, so we keep it as a closed loop. And the amount of features that we have within our world, not only our integrated map, but so many different types of structures within that map. We have a university that's going to be fully established. It will be licensed and registered, and we'll be able to hold actual real classes within the metaverse. We have a mall where you can be able to rent out or lease out the spaces, just like a normal mall, where you can put in your specific projects. You want to call it a launch pad, call it a launch pad. You want to call it a placement card, call it a placement card. But you are able to allocate your own business within that mall, that people that are starting to have a user base within our game would be able to walk through and select and walk into that specific project. We have a stadium for sporting events, which we are soon to be partnering up with different types of larger sporting entities. We have a gaming area. We have a sports pub. We have an octagon. We have a dating island, which we're going to kind of collaborate with different UI platforms within that industry. I mean, the list can go on. But we would be here more than an hour to list exactly everything that we do.
Yeah, now I know that you guys also won the most innovative project award in Dubai, so congratulations to that. And that just recently happened. And I know also that you guys have pretty much, you have a token, you guys have an NFT line, and you guys also have a land. So you also have a metaverse where you actually sell land. So could you actually potentially tell us what a little bit more about the NFTs? Are there still NFTs available? What's the use case for the NFTs? And then also tell us a little bit about the land sales.
All right, so we started with an NFT series of 10,000 series collection that launched just prior to the launch of our actual token, which is the MR token on the BSC. We minted out the NFT series collection in about 4.5 days. So right now, if you want to buy an NFT, you have to use it within our DApp, which we have our own marketplace for. The new version of our marketplace will be released shortly, and you'll be able to see what that actually looks like and how it's been integrated. Because of the fact that now I'm going to segue over to land, we started to mint out now all the land that will be interactive within our game. A few people have already, our community has already seen what our mapping integration looks like, and you're going to be able to not only own the land, but interact with the land within our game, assess your structure within your own land, create your own business within your own land, which we'll be able to give tutorials on how to do that as the project progresses. Land sales going very well. We've minted over 7,000 portions of land. Everything has to be purchased in MR, again, keeping within the ecosystem. So that means you have to buy MR first, then you buy the land. And then that means MR comes back to us, which we will essentially redistribute within our staking platforms that we have, because we have a full staking deck as well that offer a very attractive APY. It's within pool 1 to pool 10. It's on a randomizer. The use case for our current NFTs, we have our own staking platform for NFTs, which yields you also MR token. And we will be coming out with the use case, the first use case of our Series 1 NFT collection in the coming couple of weeks. Again, we don't want to spoil all information, because that's only going to incentivize the individual to start trading the NFTs within our marketplace, which is essentially our goal, right? We want to expand so large that the typical tokenomic taxation that we have of 10, 12%, and it fluctuates from time to time depending on volume counts. We want to actually get rid of the taxations at some point when you list on larger exchange where they're required, like Binance, but only focus on within our marketplace, which our marketplace, the reason why we spend so much time, so much effort, and so much money to create this new marketplace that no one has seen yet, is the fact that we know the volume that's going to be, not only for a crypto aspect, but a gaming aspect. Because you have to remember, this project is not relying on crypto. It's relying on gaming. So you talk about an adoption of crypto of 2.3% of the global population, but yet in gaming it's 5 times the amount. So that's our focus. You know, crypto is an added value in a native support of our liquidity, but when you are talking about a user that's using our game, spending MR to buy their avatar skin, or to get into a concert, or to buy an NFT within our world, you have to buy an MR token. But that individual is not asking for a rate of return behind it. It's not asking for a yield amount or profit. Their profit is the enjoyment of the game, similar to what VBOC is to Fortnite, right? But the difference is, after you buy something, like in Fortnite, you can't resell it. You can't resell a dance move or a skin or yada yada yada. But in our marketplace, you can. So if you buy something and you're done with it, but it's popular for whatever reason within the community of our users, you're able to go back into our marketplace and resell it for MR, which then you can sell your MR for your fiat currency.
So one thing I love about what you were talking about just then, Daniel, is that you guys actually have the you're coming from a gaming background. So a lot of the crypto projects that's getting involved and they say that they have a metaverse or a play to earn or a gaming, they're not thinking element of gaming first. They're thinking about profits or play to earn first, right? And it's almost like it's complete opposite with MetaRuffy. And I have had a chance to take a couple peeks at the metaverse. It kind of gives me like the Dubai vibes, like when Dubai first was getting built out and how like luxurious it looked. This is kind of how the MetaRuffy world kind of strikes me when I'm looking at it, Ruffy world. So that's definitely really cool features that you guys have there. I do want to talk about something else that I had seen yesterday. There was a massive burn, and I know before that you guys were doing buyback and burn. And then the community kind of voted to get away from the buyback and burn because of the BNB and how it would affect people are just pretty much waiting to sell out and just wait.
Of course,
easy trade.
Of course.
Yeah. So
easy.
I know you guys went ahead and switched to a burn only yesterday. I wanted to ask what was the reason for the burn? And is it something that you guys are going to try to do more often?
See, the thing is, so to buy, so we got that burn, which was 10% of our supply that we burned yesterday. It was 10 billion tokens. We're 100 billion supply, right? If you do a calculation, we have 150,000 lands to mint for the community. If each one is 3 million MR, it would be about 15 times our supply to mint out the entire amount at that cost. What does that mean? That means that it's not impossible, but it'll take quite some time to mint out that amount of land. So for us to continually burn the supply of purchase of land would not be sustainable, because we would have zero supply because everything would be burned. And of course, how the circulation and what that translates to in trading, it would not necessarily be sustainable. We did that because we were allowed to do it now. It was a simple strategy approach to allow the volume and the transitions of trading to move a little bit faster, which we know what the process of supply and demand does for a marketed trading. That was a simple event that we decided as a team to collectively do. You're absolutely right. Bye-bye.
Oh, I might have lost you there for a second, unless it's just me.
No, it's
sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. I just had a call. I just had a call. If I get that call again, my apologies. It was.
It's all good. I had it as soon as Scott turned the mic over to me. Somebody called. I was up. Here we go.
Yeah,
it's fine. Continue on.
Where was I? So you're absolutely right. Buybacks are not a pro. I see that as a big con for a lot of projects, because they are opportunities for individuals to simply just release into their liquidity and duck out, because of course we're not going to be able to convince everybody, and a few are there for the simple day-to-day crypto trading, because that's what they do for the day-to-day. And we didn't want to necessarily give those opportunities for individuals anymore. So yeah, the buyback doesn't necessarily make any sense, but just the burn does, because it comes to a point where we're allowed to do it. There is going to be a point where you can't just keep on burning, because you actually do need supply. We need supply to replenish the staking APYs. We need the supply for the exchanges that we're going to be listed on. Again, we're listed on 7 exchanges. In the next couple of months, it may be 15. And there's always requirements for matching tokens. So a percentage needs to be allocated to those exchanges. So we are very conscious about what we're doing. And we'll make sure that every single approach and every single decision that we make is strategically planned accordingly.
Daniel,
yeah,
sorry, Viben. I just like to always mention, like, when I had the CEO on Spaces, he kind of gave an idea of how this vision came to him. Can you kind of tell everyone how that happened?
Yeah, of course. So Jihan, every year, Jihan visits his family in Washington State, the United States, because he's from Europe. But he wants to go there because I believe it's part of, like, I don't know if it's the visa or something, but he always has to be there for a small period of time. So he goes there, he visits for about 2 weeks, and then he goes back. But he gets to visit family at the same time. About last year, or a year prior to that, he was in Washington State. He woke up in the middle of the night. He had this dream, this epiphany of building a Ruffy world. He wasn't called Ruffy. He wanted an epitome of a digital world. Now he knows that somewhat kind of existed, but not the way that he had it set up. So he, in the middle of the night, grabbed a bunch of loose leaf papers and started to design it himself. And he's not anything of a artistic, guru and anything like that, specialist, but he did his entire design, and he was starting to tape it like it was a collage almost, all over the table, off the table, onto the floors, up the walls. Before you know it, his relative's kitchen looked like a whole mural of designs within loose leaf papers. And that was his world that he was designing in his mind. So he was trying to redraw or recreate what was in his dream. and then he started videotaping it, just as, you know, a documentary almost of his vision. And that's what really caught my eye, because when him and I first got introduced, I just explained to him who I was in the space. You know, I've been in crypto since 2013, yada yada yada. And fast forward to now, he showed me the video, and I got goosebumps. And I was like, "This is amazing! Like, this is where greatness is created, from something as creative as what you just showed me, which is putting, you know, pen on paper and drawing out your vision." And it was remarkable. And that video is still circulating around. I can guarantee you, I can find it somewhere. It was a really beautiful scene.
That's awesome. And here, I'll let Viben take over again. I just had to mention that because I think that's kind of amazing sometimes. I think some things are meant to happen, and when you do get visions and different things, that definitely is leading you in the direction that you're supposed to go. So I just really love that idea. Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, that is super cool, and I like that you guys are cognizant about the burn. You know, like me being a part of the project as a holder, I'm not a big burn fan. I've never been a big buyback and burn fan, and I'm not a big burn fan because you never know what the future holds for a project, right? You never know where you might need those tokens, and a lot of people don't know it takes a lot of tokens to go to exchanges. So it is something that I love that you guys are very conscientious about. But I did want to also ask Daniel, how do you guys come up with your staking? Like you guys have, I think you said 10 staking pools. How do you guys come up with those, and how do the holders, how do they decide which pool they actually go into?
So we always had what they consider to be mystery staking, which is a random logic that once you want to get into the mystery staking, there's a randomizer, so you don't know exactly what staking pool you're into. So it's like by chance or by luck. We had first, in the beginning of the project, we only had from pool 1 through 5, 1 being the constant, you can get in and out of it, had a fixed APY. If you had it locked for certain amounts of days, that was your fixed APY. But then pool 2 through 5, you would get a mix depending on which pool you were getting into, but you could never guarantee. What does that do? That incentivizes the individual, where if they don't get their exact same pool, once they have generated the 10% taxation, because it's essentially a transfer of wallet within staking, so you have a 10% tax. Once they recoup that, they'd say, you know what, I'm going to get out, I'm going to go back into another staking pool. What does that do? The taxation constantly feeds the ecosystem, and it also gives the opportunity for the individual to get into a higher pool. Possibly. Sometimes they get into the same pool. Sometimes they get into a slightly smaller pool. So it's luck of the draw. And recently we changed that concept through staking pool number 1 through 10, where everything is a mystery on how you are able to get into those pools. So it's the same randomizer, but each pool has its associated lock of 30 and 60 days and the APY percentages that are attached to it.
And is the land sales pretty much the same thing? Because I do know that there are 3 different types of lands, but I know initially when I got my first land, I didn't know I didn't know where the land was going to be or anything. Just kind of like it was random. But I do now. I went back and looked, and it's 3 different plots of land. So is it still mystery land buying, or how does that work now?
Everything is mystery land buying. You do not know where your land is yet. The allocations have not been put into the mapping interface just yet. So you don't even know where you are. You could be in an island, or you can be on the main. You can be, next to one of the yachts. Nobody knows yet, which is the interesting part. And then you're going to be able to start seeing more as this progresses on what are the other kind of almost use cases within those lands. And again, I can't necessarily mention anything just now because it hasn't been announced yet, but it keeps the interaction going. It's a constant interaction within the user base and the actual game itself, which is what you need. If we talk about, our possible quote unquote competitors, which we understand have been around for a lot longer than we have, but what we provide is a real interactive experience where you can actually go and walk around within our game. Now, granted, our game still has a lot of updating to do. I mean, we've been at it now nonstop every single day. Our devs on the back end and our engineers, our designers, they're working, 16 hours a day for the past 4.5, almost 5 months, creating what you are seeing. And we have updates in our game, I think weekly, if I'm not mistaken, already at this time. So we're growing exponentially, and with this next year with the MetaRuffy is going to be extremely exciting, because you think about, if people want to talk about tokenomics, people want to talk about crypto, this is something that's just simply different. It is different in every way, shape, or form. We are not dependent on crypto traders because we are attracting the main user. We want to have 100,000, 200,000 users within the metaverse buying MR to interact within our game. We do that. Everything else is a fundamental, like, added value. You're a crypto trader, that's just an added value, because we don't need them to feed the chart and move it the way it needs to be moved, because we are not a crypto project, we are a gaming project. And we are fully incorporated in Dubai, by the way. We did that a week prior to us going to Dubai for our crypto expo, which you mentioned, of course. We won the best company 2022 there, out of 72 other projects that were there itself. And just to quickly tap into that, and I say this, and I say this all the time, if you were there, and we had a lot of investors and holders that actually visit us from across the globe to go there, you would understand the vibe, the energy, the aura that was surrounding our booth compared to everybody else. You could have cut it with a knife, knowing the difference between what we had and what everybody else had. We had at points in our days there, we had 300 plus people in front of our booth. You couldn't see the amount of people that were on the left and right of our booth because it went that far deep.
It looked fun, man. The videos that I seen and just the camaraderie with the team, it just looked
But that's
fun.
what it is. It is fun because we make it fun. Like, Jihan is, not only is he a beautiful person, he's extremely generous. We do these giveaways. We were giving away like MacBook Pros and PlayStation 5s and land and MR and cash prizes. I mean, we gravitate to so many different types of like methods of quote unquote marketing, whether you want to call it targeted marketing or selective marketing. We take that fundamental approach that has been around for decades, and we put it into the crypto space, and that's how we utilize. Because for us to use the underground marketing that people use within Telegram and pushing the nonsense diluted methods that literally don't yield anything anymore, because people have gotten a lot smarter, not dumber, in this space. We have to take those approaches. And that's what we're doing. Like, for instance, if you go into our game now, you're going to see a racetrack. Everybody was crazy about a possible racetrack. Like that was a nuance. That was an amazing approach that we were going to have now a racetrack, and that was purposely made for a reason. And that reason is going to come up hopefully sooner than later, because again, I can't spoil that.
I thought it was going to be for the duck races. I know when I first started with MetaRuffy, you guys used to have this quack 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 thing, and I used to get in the Telegram like, what are they doing, bro? But it was just a fun way like to get the community involved and
but vibing. But that's all it is. It's interactive community building. I mean, recruiting companies, the largest recruiting companies in the world, they do interactive community building or employee buildings. That's the exact same fundamental approach that we did there. It gets everybody together, and it gets everybody to be positive and laugh, because there's nothing more productive than people being happy.
100 on that, man. All the quacks used to trip me out. But we're about 30 minutes into it. I do want to open up the floor for some questions from the audience. Be respectful with your questions, guys. Obviously, we don't condone anybody asking price questions or price-related questions. I do know with this project, the one thing that they don't care if you want to be a seller or you think you're gonna like it's been the thing since the beginning. Hey, if you want to sell. They don't. They're not here to hold anybody's hand. They believe in what they have, and I love that. So again, if you guys have any questions, you can go ahead and hit request now, and myself and Scott will start bringing you guys up so you guys can ask the questions to Daniel.
Release the hounds.
No doubt. Love to get some questions up here from the crowd. This is a big crowd right now, too. We have over 70 people tuning in right now, so please don't hesitate to send in your request. Just ask questions. And I mean, don't feel shy.
I guess while we're waiting for somebody to come up, I was going to ask Daniel, my question just slipped off my head. Oh, you guys, can you run through your taxes, like your buy and sell tax, just for everybody this year, just in case they
listen.
don't.
It fluctuates, right? So we had
Mm-hmm.
it at 4% buy. We had 16% sell. Now I believe it's at 12 or 10% buy and 12% sell. Again, we fluctuate the taxations, but we fluctuate them on good reasoning, right? So if we understand that there's going to be an influx of buys and we've done enough of a job on the volume count, then we maybe drop down the buy taxation to kind of incentivizes the individuals to buy a little bit more because you're getting a bit lower in taxations, and then we up it on the sells because we want the taxation to combat and being able to distribute, because everything is split. It gets split through the marketing dev wallets, and then it gets split to your burn 2% and your USDT reward reflections, which is also generated. And if you tax, you're able to get a little bit more as well. If you stake, I'm sorry.
Somebody just DM me and said, "Are there a maximum amount of land plots that can be purchased?"
Per transaction is 20 plots, but there is no maximum amount. You can keep on purchasing as many as you want, but they have to be in 20 max increments, all within the same wallet. We, every once in a while, which I think you already know, we do what we call Minute of Madness, which we drop the price down to 1 million MR, which kind of equates to, I don't know, a BNB and a half-ish worth. And that is when it really starts to get crazy. We do it for about 60 seconds. We announce it within 24 to 48 hours prior, so then everybody kind of preps themselves whether they want to top off on MR to buy land for that kind of discounted price. We don't do it very often, but we do it every once in a while.
All right. So Hammy came up. Hammy, you got a question for Daniel?
Shit, man, I didn't know I came up. No, I'm just listening, man. I'm sorry.
Just say hello, Hammy. That's it.
Oh, man, dude. Your project sounds killer. Big fan.
Appreciate it.
Oh, sorry, Daniel. I got a quick question.
Yeah.
Do you guys have, like, I understand that in the pub that you guys are in one of your areas, you might be streaming some live events or, like, sporting events and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Have you guys already worked in sponsorships or partnerships with people
we are
on
working
that side of it?
We are working on them now. So the reason why the integration of partnerships, we first had to be incorporated, which happened about 5 or so weeks ago. We got fully incorporated in Dubai. So now we are going to be building our physical office in Dubai, which Jihan is currently looking at physical space now because it's Ramadan, so you get a little bit more of a discount in Dubai at this point in time within this specific holiday. We also needed to trademark a lot of our entity names, and that was done globally. But that process takes about 3 to 6 months, depending on how fast our legal team can push those trademarks, because we need to trademark our names as well. But we are already in talks with different platforms for sporting events. And, one that's always been mentioned, which is absolutely true, and we are in talks, is Sky Sports Plus. But that's only one of many. Again, I hint about racing, and I think people can put 2 and 2 together, what may or may not be there. We are talking partnerships on that aspect, and as well as partnerships on every vast, possible idea. Because remember, one specific entity can buy land in our world and plot their business there and create their own value within the world. But it's only beneficial for them when you have the user base that is there. So if you have a large user base there, then it makes sense to advertise there and to have and hone in a business that's there. So that, of course, all is within its time. And if we talk about our competitors, which, I never like to talk about competitors, but if you want to talk about timelines, they've been at it for almost 8 years, and only in the past year that they've been able to establish what they have established. So we are a 4-month-old project, and we are already this far ahead of what we like to call the possible competitive back and forth. So
I did also see, sorry, Vibin, I also did see you guys have added an octagon into your metaverse and hinted at Dana White as well.
You actually have fighting. So you have real fighting moves in the octagon. Once you get in there, you're able to it activates within your avatar the specific fighting moves, and some of those fighting moves are going to be purchased on an NFT basis, right? It's just like for Fortnite, you do your dance moves, you get to buy more dance moves and yada 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 with V-Buy. I've never played Fortnite, but this is what I have heard. Similar concept, but yeah, you'll be able to buy like fatality moves kind of stuff. And it's just, again, we're going to create tournaments in there. You want to possibly talk about maybe doing something with the UFC, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like we created already a little doppelganger of Dana White that's called Dana Blue. Ha ha ha. We already put it on Twitter. I already have a few contacts that are trying to put me in touch with him. All this stuff is being progressed, right? So again, we are so early in this space. The talk of metaverse is early. What the capabilities are is extremely early. So when people ask, where's the value add? The fact that this is so early is the value add. And the potential of where this is going to go, every one of our holders that you speak to has nothing bad to say about us. Some may be, the crypto trader and expecting a little bit more to do what they do best. That's perfectly fine. We're welcome for everybody. But the true believers, the believers of where this is going to go, the narrative is always the same. Everybody has a smile on their face, and everybody falls asleep at night knowing that their investment is not only safe and secure, but they know where the potential of growth is going to be. Because they know the team behind us, they know our reputation, and they know that we are there 24/7. Our voice chat is open 24/7. Everybody, whoever has a question, we are always there to answer. We are just about to get posted our Certec audit, which is in its final review stage. So expect that to come out, and I'm not going to say anything, but let's just say very, very soon. Maybe after this call, maybe not. I have no idea. But that's just added credibilities, right? Getting the badge, saying that we were fully vetted out and audited by the creme de la creme in Shanghai's office is phenomenal. We are verified on Twitter. We have our own Twitter badge. I can tell you one of our competitors that don't have a Twitter badge yet. So just saying, if you guys can read between the lines and read the writing on the wall, I think it's very easy to understand where this is headed.
Yeah, definitely one of the projects that, I was able to get into and super happy, like you said, definitely sleep good at night. So Sam the Tripp, you came up, you have a question?
Yeah, I do have a question.
Right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, so I'm really intrigued about the Meta University from MetaRuffy. And I want to ask, how large is this? Like, how can you give a description of how it's going to look like, and how big is this going to cover? What kind of
Okay, so great question, Sam. And this is a very, very important topic, a very special topic for not only us, but mainly our CEO, Jihan. He wanted to do something that was very impactful for a world issue, especially a third world country world issue, where education is not necessarily so easy to come by. We want to create an educational space for free for everybody to use. Now, to have an educational space, you need to go through certain guidelines, whether it's in a global standpoint or individual countries. So we will have to apply for those. The actual university itself within our Ruffy world has been built both in and out. So you can go download our game, go within our game, look for the Liam University, which is named after Jihan, our CEO's beautiful baby boy, who's 4 months old, that I was able to kiss on the forehead when I met him in Dubai. The most adorable thing in the world. So that was near and dear for Jihan to have in that world. And you walk into one of the auditoriums, it's massive. We could hold 100,000 person classroom if we'd like. There is no limitations because of the fact that we are in a digital model. Everything can be expandable. If you walk into our octagon looks small on the outside, but the moment you go in it, it's massively large. We're very spacious. Same thing with the university. The building is in good size structure within its digital footprint, but once you walk into the auditorium, it's massive, and it can only get bigger. And the way that we're going to have it is we're going to create, of course, we have to have administrations, secretaries, we have to have licensed teachers, because you can't just have somebody, a random person off the streets teaching a class. They need to be certified, and how that certification is going to only go with the regulations per country or per city that we're going to be able to offer this to. So let's just say we go to Bangladesh, and we want to offer education for a community that education doesn't become it's a commodity. It's not readily available like you were to be in New York City, like where education is for all and everybody's able to use it because it's public. We would have to go through certain guidelines and red tape to get that first allocated before being able to sign up professors that are able to educate not only properly but legally at the same time.
That's massive. That's
very,
really, really
very,
massive.
very, because you think about just education as a whole. I'm not saying that, hey, listen, we're going to be teaching Western civilization or art history and stuff like that, but we're going to be able to create core spaces depending on the needs of the collective. Right? And all that stuff still has to be data analyzed to understand what those topics and subjects are. One of them, of course, being naturally DeFi, Web3, things that are integrated within blockchain, crypto, decentralization field and industry. Naturally, that's going to be a whole sector where there's going to be a massive volume that's going to be interested on getting to understand how this works, because of the fact that we are so early on in this pizza pie of 100% scaled model. We are only at a 10% adoption or 10% there on what everyone else doesn't even realize that we exist. I can guarantee you I can go into this local Starbucks that's literally right next to me, and I will pick 5 people that are in there and they've never even heard of crypto. That's the problematic area, is that people are aware that crypto exists. It's not a problem. It's just an awareness approach that we need to create a larger model for.
That's for sure. And we're super early, like you said. We're definitely 100% early. I did have a Crypto
10%.
Crypto J Prince come up. You have your hand up. You can go ahead and take it down and ask your question.
Great. Thank you guys, BigONE and Daniel, for hosting this space. I really think this project and our company is going to be big. A quick question. I did see videos on the MetaRuffy's YouTube channel with Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank and the co-creator of Apple kind of endorsing MetaRuffy.
Yep.
Are they involved or are they invested in any way? Because usually big names like that don't attach themselves to a news, so that's really saying something. Can you speak on that, please?
Yeah, of course. So when you get kind of endorsements in this nature, you go different routes, right? Like any other crypto project can buy a cameo for $500 and have somebody shout out your name. That's all good and fine. Are these paid endorsements? Naturally, of course, because they don't do this just because they are the kindness of their heart, because they are businessmen. They are who they are for a reason, and they get compensated for such a reputation. For us to be able to get both Kevin and Wozniak to endorse us in that manner, they had to vet out our project first, because they don't do that for everybody, or else it would dilute their credibility and knock their batting average to zero. Which we have seen time and time again from anybody that thinks that they are trending in the social influencer of such, and then they just accept money, and then all these projects go to the ground, and then they hurt their reputation. So they wanted to make sure that we were not only interviewed first, but fully vetted before they gave them our thumbs up for support. They are not financially invested in the project, at least not that I know of. They could possibly be on the quiet, but that we would never know that. And currently, they are not having any involvement on the back end of the team. That was simply to show what our reach is of credibility from individuals that are so well respected in the tech world. How they were able to accept us and say, yes, we are happy to promote you with our name attached to it, which was such a positive. It was such a positive view for the community to know that was the possibility, and for them to do it was phenomenal.
It was definitely the first time I had seen Mr. Wonderful and like do a cameo for something like that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, he doesn't do it very often, especially for crypto.
And I was impressed. I'm impressed by the way you answered that, Dame, because a lot of people could, a lot of projects would probably try to say, hey, maybe they are invested. Maybe, no, we didn't pay for it. And it's like the honesty is one thing that I love about MetaRuffy and how open you guys are. And I definitely, now that I'm here, I don't really talk much in the chat. I just come by every now and then. But I know the team does an amazing job. I know Ramin, he's really good with numbers. Crypto King's always there hyping up. You're there making sure you answer all the tough questions. But I love that community, man. It's like sometimes when I'm having a bad day, I can even just jump in you guys' Telegram and may find something to make me laugh, because it's just that kind of energy there. So I want you guys to definitely keep that same energy. And for the people who are listening, MetaRuffy did list on BigONE today. And we are a centralized exchange. I'm not sure if this is the first centralized listing exchange for MetaRuffy, but
no, it's not. It's the
I know you guys do
7.
Yeah, you guys get a release every week. It's like you get a new exchange every week.
Pretty much. Well, you gotta see what next week's gonna look like.
I always do, man. I never know. I always try to come by once a week and see what you guys are doing. I did want to leave the last 10 minutes open. If anybody else did have any other questions, or if you guys had another question, you could go ahead and ask your questions. And then probably the last 5 minutes, I want to let Daniel do a good closing for anyone that may just got in the room or got into the room late. So if you got any questions now, go ahead and raise your hand. Or if you guys have any more questions, now is the time to ask. All right, so Scott, I got a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
When MetaRuffy?
MetaRuffy.
I've been messing with Scott. The funniest thing, Daniel, is that when I first got into MetaRuffy, it was right when MetaRuffy launched, right? And it was like you guys came out with staking as soon as you guys launched. And one of the staking pools are kind of messed up, or either the interface was off or something. Everybody started selling and was all mad. And Gian was in the chat hey man, if you lost money, I'll give you your money back. One BNB, don't even worry about it. It's just the attitude that he had. I was like, this guy's crazy, right? So it made me just it made me get a little bit of it, and then I think that was around I don't remember if it was definitely less than $2 million market. It was really low, and then it just took off and went towards 40, 50, 60 million. Yeah, and I told Scott, I was like, I gotta stop watching it because I don't want to be that guy that like sells outright. So I was like, I don't watch that wallet anymore. So I definitely want to commend you guys on what you're doing. Like I said, I think your guys' Telegram is probably one of the healthiest Telegrams that I've ever been in. Just in terms of day to day, how you guys always have the voice chat open 24/7, and it's actually somebody that's in the voice chat that knows what they're talking about. It's just not like somebody there that's like, just dismissing any question that somebody may have, because there's never nothing wrong with questions. Everybody should, if you have your money somewhere, you should question where it is and why you have it there.
Absolutely. And for me, it's all about you have to do yourself your own service by knowing what you're investing in. You should never be investing just because of what the chart does or just because what the other individual is doing and kind of following the herd. You always have to educate. You always have to know what you're doing. But that's a repetitive narrative that anybody that is credible and transparent and simply a good person would remind all new investors to do. Because it is your money. It is the hard-working soul that you have created for your life and for your family. You should know where you're putting it, And for me to stand here and say how humble and how we're just privileged to be in this space. We're privileged to have the community that we have that entrusts in what we're doing. I think we have already shown everybody what we are capable of. Now it's just simply people are saying more. We want to see more because they know that we can just keep on providing more. Every single week we have daily meetings with our C-level team, and it's just constant innovation. Constant. It has not stopped. Jihan has said it right. With our taxation, how our model works, we have the funds that we need to build our game, which we are doing. That's a separate allocation that's already done. So everything else is for the development within the actual company itself, not the game, or it's for the marketing basis or any other unique aspects that we want to integrate within our entire ecosystem.
I think Hammy was up first, and then digital currency can be next.
Hey, I got a question now. All right.
Hey, back with a question. Welcome back, Hammy.
I've actually got two of them. All right, so you're in the you're knee deep in the metaverse right now. How long do you think it's going to take the industry to kind of reach that point where it's of saturation? Like, are you thinking the innovation and with the speed of development, it's going to be around 2025? And
I think you're correct. I think you're correct on the 2025 area, because you want to know why. And I'm sorry to interrupt you for your second question, but this way I'm already flowing. 2025, I think, is going to be the next real big push with crypto as a whole. We're talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, your Solanas, and a few others that people are really not talking about. It's going to be essentially the next real push, the next real catapult, and that's going to bring a larger adoption awareness into humanity, into what people are not paying attention to. And keep in mind, Metaverse is currently a very small space, but yet needs a very large audience. Your Decentraland, your sandboxes, your NFT worlds, and all this other jazz, they can only do so much. So when people are like, well, how are you better than the others? And I'm not saying we're better or worse. I'm just saying it's going to come to a point where the pool is so large, it's okay to have multiples. Just like it's okay to have a Lexus or Toyota or Mercedes. You don't need to have one brand of car. You need to have multiple brands of cars because our population requires it. And it's going to be the same concept when it comes to business owners, independent individual investors that want to build within their own lands in Metaverse, within all different types of platform, not only ours, but for the collective.
That very good answer. Yeah, I agree completely. And all of this VR and Metaverse and everything, it's really trying to bring another reality to everybody else. And I feel like there's going to hit a point of saturation where everything starts to say, all right, now we got the metaverse down. Now let's transition this into AR environment. When do you think that transition begins? Like where we're driving without a windshield because we have a screen that kind of, you know.
I would say, you know, hey, listen, if Elon Musk is behind the wheel for anything, I would say in 5 months. But I mean, look at what the guy just did about Twitter. I mean, it's amazing. You know, we don't have enough of that of individuals like him that simply think so far out of the box that it's almost crazy. You know, I would say probably another half a decade or so until we would probably see that after the real full adoption of what VR is and metaverse and that concept.
Yeah, because I figure they have to work out all of the bugs before,
Correct.
you know, and make it almost seamless before they integrate it into, you know, our reality. But
I
yeah,
say probably when my kids are in college, I'd say is when we would probably see something like that. Keep in mind that in evolution, the way that we have grown, what we have built in the past 100 years was 2,000 times faster than what it was under the 1900s, from like the 1200s to the 1900s. So the gap is getting shorter. So every single year we are evolving much faster than the year prior. And that goes hand in hand with technology as well.
I appreciate the answers, and yeah, keep it up, man. I love your project.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Digital currency.
All right, we got a digital currency or base card.
Hey, how's it going, Daniel? A great project. I'm definitely a holder. Been a holder since day one, and I'm definitely loving the success that you guys are having. I have one quick question. Now, you said that you guys were going to be launching on PS5 and Xbox. Now, when you guys launch on those two platforms, when you decide you want to buy MR to do any type of events or anything, will that MR be integrated into the PlayStation Network or the Xbox Live?
Yeah. Well, that type of the UI interface and stuff like that still has to be discussed with the licensees of Microsoft and Sony and all that other jazz, how they integrate the actual game. Right now, you can buy MR. We partner with Flus, which is a third-party payment processing. So you can buy MR with Apple Pay, with a credit card, with anything. You go to our website, you click Buy Now, and you can buy it direct, and it gives you you do your wallet connect and it integrates it and puts MR directly in your account without even needing to buy BNB. So something of that nature is going to need to be integrated within the game to do exactly that, because you do that same thing when you have any other game that you are able to do in-game purchases within its specific console.
All right, man. That's exact. Okay, so you guys can use the Visa, your Visa or MasterCard on your website. Now, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we partner with Flus. It's live.
Okay, well, I definitely. Okay, well, I thank you, appreciate it, and that definitely answers my question regarding the PS5 and Xbox.
We check the boxes a lot faster than most people.
All right, thanks, man.
Thank you.
All right, so Dan, we like to keep our spaces around 1 hour because we like to be respectful for everybody's time. Sure. But man, I definitely appreciate you coming in today, actually getting to speak with you. I probably ran into you in the chat or in the Telegram a couple of times, but again, I'm always in and out. I have I'm always doing things in BigONE as well as Blockcast. But in closing, is there anything else you want to say to the people? Or I know you pinned some of the things at the top. Make sure that you guys check out the things that are pinned at the top. And then make sure you check out MetaRuffy. Follow them on Twitter and check out the D app. I know this morning it was a little crazy with all the excitement with the listing of BigONE and some things got crashed. But
the community broke our damn dApp.
Yeah, I did notice that. But yeah, man, I want to give you a minute to just say anything else you want to say in closing. And then, man, I definitely want to appreciate what you guys are doing. And Jihan, man, I always want to tell you guys, man, I appreciate the great energy and keep it up, man.
Listen, we are just extremely blessed. The entire team. We say it every day how blessed we are. that we were able to all find each other in what considered to be a small space is still very big, and how we were able to all bring ourselves together and everything clicked within the team. Every energy, everybody was in sync. And when you have that kind of combination of ingredients of professionalism and creativity, there's no way you can't make a masterpiece. It's impossible not to make one. And we're doing it right now, and everyone's seeing it right in front of them. And some are fortunate to see it earlier than others, but we're not going to stop. And we're going to keep on creating and keep on innovating. And the future for us is extremely bright.
That's a 100 for me. And Scott, you have anything else for Daniel before we get out for the day?
No, I just really, truly appreciate you taking the time, Daniel, with us today to come in here to speak about your project and bring the vibes. Like, we always talk about community here, positivity. We always want to bring that into our spaces on BigONE. So, again, we have these Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 12 p.m. EST. You guys are more than welcome to come back whenever you want. Daniel, yourself, or any members of your community. We always keep it positive and always want the best for every project that joins BigONE. So I'm super excited for you guys to come over to BigONE.
Well, I really appreciate it, Scott. Vibin, thank you so much for having us on. We're excited to be on the BigONE exchange. Again, that's simply a drop in the bucket for everything else that we're doing. But this is going to be a very, very fun ride that from us will hopefully, and to be honest with you, will never end, because the creativity that we do is constant.
Yeah, every week is something new, guys. Like, literally, it's something new, man. It's like, biggest announcement. Like, man, that was last week. How you got another one already? It's like every week there's something, man. So definitely, I want to tell you guys, everybody that's listening, I want to tell you guys Happy Easter. Today is Good Friday, so Happy Good Friday to everybody that's listening. Happy Easter to you and your family, families out there. Make sure you guys spend some time with your family or get some time outside around loved ones, and try to get some good vibes in your weekend. And we tried to start it off good this weekend by bringing in MetaRuffy on a Friday. Next time Daniel comes, he's going to bring MetaRuffy music. It's kind of one of the things that goes along with all the AMAs and all the big announcements, and it lets everybody know Meta really cares about them. So I just wanted to get that out. But other than that, that's all I got, man. I appreciate you.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, guys. Thank everybody. I hope everybody has a good weekend, and we'll see you guys next week.
Very good. Ciao, guys.
Peace.